Hello, everyone, and welcome to MQFF News 2023, Episode 9. Episode 9. We are going strong. That's because we have amazing filmmakers. And today we actually have one of our international short nominees, and some other nominations are coming out too. This is a great film. And I'm going to talk about that very soon. But let's talk about the festivals first. Our festival runs from September 8th through 10th. And I'm super, super excited that this year, because of our amazing sponsors, all the tickets for general admission are completely complimentary. That means they're free. That means that all you have to do is go to our website, log on, get your ticket, register for them now. They are going fast. Our first block is almost over. We're not going to release another block until later in August. So make sure you get your tickets. Also, we have our VIP tickets for $35. Again, with the VIP room, the action night party, and all those things. But before I talk about today's episode and this amazing film, CATFIGHT, because it's a great film, and it's everything that I wanted in a movie called CATFIGHT. So before I talk about that film, I need to talk about our sponsors who are bringing this festival to you. MQFF is sponsored and brought to you by the Central Valley Pride Center, Workshop 44, Merced Multicultural Arts Center, The Mainzer, BMO, El Capitan, and our wonderful community sponsors, Tom and Millie Maddox, and Tony Lynch and Anthony Rodriguez. Our festival passes this year were actually designed by Mike Spears from Spoltz Productions, who is an MQF Academy winner from last year. Like I said, we are a family. Once you're a part of our family, you kind of just don't leave it, and you end up helping, and you vote, and you become a judge. And it's just like the Academy of Art and Science, but better because it's queer, and everything queer is so much better. Okay. But on the serious note, I'm also very excited to all the artists who are going to be performing at the opening night show with this amazing concert event called Robert and the Fairly Queer Parents, headlined by Kat and Rick Angel. I'll be on stage, but believe me, Kat and Rick Angel are the show. They are going to be amazing, and we have some amazing surprises. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce this amazing filmmaker, Keshhav, but I'm going to call him Cash because me and him are friends, and he said I can call him Cash, so that's what I'm going to do. How are you doing, Cash?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great.
I am
same for you. I can see that, you in so much energy that is flowing, the synergy it's happening. So that's great.
Yeah, and that energy comes from the fact that I truly just loved your movie. And I will say, like I mentioned earlier, this is an international short. Cash is in India. It is 3 a.m. in the morning over there. And so, I mean, and he looks gorgeous. Look, he's like awake, bright-eyed, beautiful, and he's ready for our interview. So let me tell you about the first thing that I always like to do is I borrowed a question from one of our documentarians. And the first question is, Cash, who is Cash? Tell me who Cash is.
Cash is a wild wind and like to explore new genre in, it's if you've seen the film, especially when the country where I belong in India, this subject is it may be a little easy, or it's very good to talk in US or other countries. People acknowledge it. Here also in metros, people acknowledge, but in small towns, still it's considered as a taboo. People are not very open. They don't talk about it. I have seen my friends especially when in the music industry, in the makeup and art, you see your friends, they are, they want to express their feeling, but I've seen them that they pretend to be not what they are. So, I always want them to be open. And whatever I've seen so far in my personal experiences, I try to do a little dramatize into it and change the characters and present it in a way that it should, the biggest challenge when it comes that, when you make film very artsy and, it should be a little more, entertaining also at the same time with the message. So that's what I try to bring.
Yes. And First of all, last year our feature international winner was actually from India, and it was a gorgeous film. And there's some amazing queer art coming out of India, and a lot of it is done by cisgender or straight people like yourself who are really trying to uplift the queer population and get the voice out there. So it's kind of beautiful because it really is, and a lot of people don't realize this because India is a beautiful country. It is a huge country. I have a lot of fans in India, so my Last Gasp TV show was actually pretty big in India, which I was kind of surprised about. But I also, one of my friends, Fazan, he won Karaoke World Idol in India. And his father was a huge musician. And one of the things that me and him have talked about is he's straight, but what he had noticed about, what his friends were dealing with exactly in the music industry and in the art industry. And, for us in America, we look at Indian film and we see Bollywood and we see amazing color and we see brightness and we see sound and amazing action films. I like some of the action films that are coming out of India are like some of the best action films. Some of the best fantasy films are really coming out of India right now. But we always have this perception that because everything is bright and colorful, that means everything is so accepting. And that is unfortunately not the truth. No. And like you said in your opening speech, I'm so excited that you took this topic. And a lot of people in America, and people think that, yes, it's easy. And actually right now in America, it's not that easy to be queer. We have a lot of crazy stuff going down our pipeline that, we just, it's a transition period.
I'm aware.
Yes, I'm sure you see it on the news over there too, right? You're like, oh.
Also, I studied in Canada. So, I was living on Church Street there in Canada downtown.
Okay. Awesome.
I studied from Toronto Film School, Canada. I did my MFA from there. So, when I was there, so I've seen with my eyes what happens, what goes through. Before that, trust me, believe me, while growing up in India, I'm talking about till I was 21, 22, I was not even aware, is there anything called something or lesbian, gay, or anything exists in this world? I was never been told.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And yes, it definitely, and I'm glad that you mentioned that you studied in Canada, because one of the things about your film that I loved, that I just truly loved, is it truly was international. It had a world feel. Your characters were all over the world. And because it dealt with high society India, I find that to be so accurate. If you have money in India, you are going to the West a lot. You're going everywhere else. You're going, you're out. And I find that filmmakers like yourself who have studied in Canada or studied in the Americas or even in Britain, you have a tendency to make sure the morality or the stuff that you learned about acceptance here gets added to the morality of your movies. And there was, at the end of your movie, a beautiful quote, love has no gender.
Love has no religion. And there's another line to that.
It's love has no gender. Character has no religion, and something has no
race.
No race. Yes. And it's just gorgeous because it's true. It is so true. And it was celebrated in this film.
I know you didn't ask that question, but I want to say that, I personally feel, and then that's true, when you are in love, so gender doesn't matter there anymore. While I was studying and while, I'm talking about, I don't want to name that. I'm just giving a small incident when I was in 10th grade, So there was this gentleman, there was some boy in my computer class, and he gave me a letter. he gave me a letter, and I was very young, 16, 17-year-old, something. And I've never heard in my life till that time there could be same gender, or we were not made, or we were not taught. In my small town, I come from Rajasthan, it's a very remote village area. I come from very different kind of a background, where if you even think like that, people may, at that time can harm you also if they,
Yeah.
because it's not common and people don't want to accept it. So when that letter came to me, I read it, and it said some beautiful lines about loving me and all. And he had a sister. So I thought, wow, that's good. We are progressing. Brother is giving me a letter about her sister feelings. I met her next day and I said, well, I mean, your sister is good. I don't mind. And I see that, things are changing. He said, letter was for you from my side. I gave you the letter. And I was like shocked. I couldn't imagine. And to be very honest, I was very harsh on him. I said some very, very, very bad language I used to him. And I thrashed him, and I read that letter in front of 5 friends. And, I made it as a matter of fun. After 15 years, 20 years, 15 years after that, when I understood the whole concept, I made sure that I went to my hometown, which I left, and I'm now living in Canada and Mumbai now. I went there specially to apologize. He was changed, things were changed, but I had that guilt in my heart that, even 15 years back, I did something wrong. I made somebody unhappy, and he was just trying to love me. I should have appreciated it. Even I'm straight, I could have told him, brother, I love you too. There's no harm in sharing the love, because people mix love with sex and other things. Then it becomes a little off and all, because as I said, love has no gender. I mean, I can love you, you can love me back. It's simple. I mean, romance is that.
You genuinely brought tears to my eyes, because it's everything that your film is about. And one of the things that I felt like your film just succeeded in was its child actors.
Oh.
Your young actors, like building that, and after just hearing the story and seeing what such great children just performances. How did that come? Let's talk about the children first, because the adult actors were amazing and just as good. But I was just so surprised with the professionalism, and of course your camera angles and your aerial shots, and it just like sweeping, like gorgeous cinematography, well thought out direction. Every camera angle was just beautifully done. But the kids were so impressive. So let's talk about them. Tell me about how that worked.
Yeah. So first thing I'd like to tell you, the one of the girl who played Vedika, Sonia, in that is my daughter, who played the childhood.
Okay.
And nowadays kids understand what they are doing. She was aware that she's playing this role, which in future will become this. She had some questions to ask. And so it was difficult for me to cast the child artists, as when their parents comes to you for auditions. I'll share the behind the scene video with you, which you'll love, which has all the process and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you how fast I shot. You'll be amazed to know that how many days of shooting was that. So when I got the kids and I told their parents that they are going to play this, all was good, happy, okay. As soon as they see their sides, and there is a scene where you are no more a virgin, that's when they're fighting. So when you are no more this, and then they say, oh, you will never get a boyfriend. And that's where the parents start thinking, wow, I mean, no, I'm not ready to my kids, or it's about this kind of relationship that you're talking about that will happen eventually in future. I'm sorry, I don't want. So it was a big challenge for me, though, how to cast for it then.
Yeah.
So then I said, let's take our own baby first. I mean, she has never acted. I said, well, I asked her that, this is the problem. Can you help me in that? She's very small. She's just 11. And other girls were 12, 13, 14. So she was the smallest one among all the actors. But she said, okay, I'm on. So when it became a little helpful and easy to convince other parents that, listen, we are, and as you know, one more thing that I want to mention between this is that here, when we talk about any film which is based on this subject, people have their own imagination that there will be vulgarity in that, there will be nudity in that, there will be sex in that, and there will be bad things or will be into that. That's given. So, I wanted to break this myth from Indian cinema or into the world cinema that there is no need to have sex to show what you want to show. You can show in entertaining way, and wanted to keep that suspense also at the same time intact, that what is this cat fight about? So parents got convinced. I said, to be very honest, this is our Indian gesture. Hey, I'm apologizing, but trust me, believe me, we are not showing kids in a bad, wrong manner. And when in the childhood, they don't even realize what exactly they want to share with each other.
Yeah.
So that hatred was love. When you see that when she kicked, and there was one guy, when they fall in love with Samir, she think, oh, he's having friendship with Samir. The jealousy comes. So basically, these are the basic instincts of any kind of relationship. And it happens in the childhood. If you are into, so you are born that way. There is no other way. I mean, you don't become later on. It is in you or you are not. Simple. So
I agree. And I remember, and one of the things that I paralleled with was I definitely had that growing up where, being gay, I knew I was gay and I had my best friend and, I definitely had more feelings than just that. And so really, you did such a great job of showing that. And your daughter did a fabulous job. And I also think that it shows your determination to the message that you were like, you know what? No, my daughter is going to be in this film too. And so there's nothing wrong with this. Let's do it together and share this message.
And other parents also understand when his daughter is there.
Yep.
So then he will take care of my daughters and our daughters and kids also. And he will not do anything vulgar or wrong. And I wanted, again, I'm repeating myself, that I wanted this message really clear to my audience in India and the global audience. And that's why I packaged the film in a way that it does not remain only for India. The treatment is not any regular Bollywood masala films that we see. So even you watch it in America, watch it in Germany, watch it in Africa, and you will feel the same kind of vibe that you will see in LA or you would see anywhere in New York City.
And then I was going to make that exact comment. This did not feel like your traditional Indian independent film. This felt like it came from a Warner Brothers or a Netflix, or it felt worldly. The cinematography was outstanding. The coloring, the sound, everything about your film technically was darn near flawless. Like, and that is hard to do in a world where everyone else has more money and everyone else has more time and everyone else has more of this. And for an independent film to be able to hold up to that caliber. And like, when I was literally watching this, I was like, okay, I'm surprised that I haven't seen this on Netflix yet. Like, I'm surprised, like, because it is that level.
I'll try. Yeah,
I'm sure it will. I mean, eventually it's gonna land somewhere because it's such a great short. But what I would like to see is a series out of it. To be honest, you had me so invested into these characters, and it's not just your lead characters. Sonia is also great, but it reminded me of like Real Housewives of India meets the world meets like and the outfits. Like your wardrobe, whoever was your wardrobe person, like some to the nines.
You won't believe if I say that today. I have planned series on the other characters also. I was planning for a prequel and a sequel also, that how I can make it possible. And, instead of now, if I had planned a movie also, a feature length, if I am in future, if I will definitely do it. And I'm finishing 2 or 3 projects right now. After that, I've thought of it that what I'll do is they will be called on one island and every teachers, and because, teacher part is also there. If you see that girl comes in, the bitching is always there in school time and in college time. And, the hatred, the beautiful thing which I liked in the film was that the hatred of these two girls is not hatred that comes eventually at the end. Mm-hmm. It was there too much of love between them that made them apart. And they remembered each other for years. And they were every day, whenever she's angry, she's going to go to the doll and punching it in the name of Sonia.
Oh, that was such a good scene.
And the other girl is going into the wardrobe and, taking the sandal out, hitting on the wall. Both side by side, it shows. People may think sometimes that, how much hatred they can have. So it was not hatred. It was the immense love that they have. And 15 years, they were thinking about each other.
Yes. And the way I also saw it was the hatred was a byproduct of the fact that they were not going to be accepted in their community at the time that they were young women. Like that would not have been okay. And as they progressed, and one of my favorite lines that Sonia says is, "Am I a Gen Zer? Oh my God, I joined Gen Z," because it really has that moment, because there's something that happens with the lesbian couple, and then all of a sudden it makes it acceptable for this hatred
and
for
this
them
is
to take it off. I loved that.
And the new thing was to bring that, it's symbolic, but bringing that nurse, when they enter, it looks like, somebody going to kill someone. Who is this character? And when they come, it becomes a very light-hearted moment where they say that, I'm here for the sperm donation right now, right here. So they come with one bag and nurses and all. It's all symbolic. But, it was just like, these people. And why I made this into that high society, because these people can justify with that. If I do it in a small village or a small house and bringing nurses, and so you beautification with simplification and what is happening into the party, and all the other characters do have small lines, like Alba, the girl comes with the Australian girl who comes, Olivia, with the teacher, and she says, well, I married him because he was very harsh in the school time.
And she's now, I can do whatever I want.
So it's all like small kind of it's a lighter moment to make it little not, because end was very heavy, and I love how many times I have, while editing, I've seen that scene for at least 60 times. I've seen film for a couple of many times. I've done background music. I've done everything. I still get tears in my eyes when I watch that scene, and I don't know how it happened. It was just actors' energy. We all were working together. We did a lot of rehearsals, but that moment, I wasn't very much confident that when I'll shoot this moment and how I will show. But after edit, I feel, I love this film, not because I made it. As a layman also, if I see this film, not as a filmmaker, I love the ending. I love so much that, I get still tears in my eyes.
Yeah. And that was the other thing that I was going to mention. This is a queer film that will please everyone, because like it has moments of a great American comedy. It has moments of like school fight almost. It has like just so many of those moments, but you also do some great cinematography, queer homages, like the whole pool and water dynasty. It felt like very like dynasty type of like aggression, and that's very queer. But then it also had great homages to Indian film. Like it's not a Bollywood movie, but there is dancing. Like there is a dance sequence,
small sequence,
and to me, that those are the things that I loved the most. Is it showed culture, character, and progression without having to be one thing. Like this is a comedy, but it's also a drama. And it's it's also a romance. So like realistically,
I like to call it romance, basically, if I had given a choice, because if I show them the build-up, what I love, sometimes it happens, you make many films. I have done work in the past also, but sometimes some magical moment creates, and some synergies and energies and some flow happens on the set that it all became so smooth. And we shot the entire movie of the entire sequence after we. It was very hard. If I tell you, we shot in one day.
What, the whole fight sequence, the whole party?
No, the whole from from the house, all house scene, entire movie means the only 10% was shot on next day, but everything was shot in one day.
Wow. Like everything was shot in one day in that house. And you had like
the New York house was also in the same house. The New York house was in the same house in the different locations. So I made 10 blocks.
Yeah, no, you're like me. Like my entire series was shot in like a house and a parking lot or something like that. Like, and people don't believe it. They're like, what? I'm like,
school half day.
Like, that's just crazy.
2 hours in the gym. But I'm just saying, it's, but I'll send you that behind the scene. You can see it. You can show it.
Yes.
So much of hard work that I because it needs a lot of preparations to go for and shoot. Because, as I said, indie filmmakers, you have a limited budget, but you want to show everything. You want to show grand. And the camera setups were, we had 5 cameras rolling at the same time.
Yeah.
And to edit them together, it becomes more difficult than having one camera. Then you have limited shots and everything. And I'll say that artists also were very hardworking. The crew, my friend, my DOP, my art director, everybody. We have worked in past, so there is one. We know each other. They understand, I think, and what I want. So it was a great team. I like to give thanks again in public to my entire team. Everybody was great in that. My friends, we put some, there were 4 of us, we put some money to make this film. There was no producer as such. Like, we were the producers, Digvijay, my friend Ash, and, we Mano, Mukul, and we all put our contribution into that to make this wonderful film.
Yeah, no, and I'm so glad you did, because it is wonderful. And I want to talk about the leading ladies. They had such a range, and now that you're telling me that everything was filmed in one day, I'm like even more impressed.
The school part was shot separately.
Well, yes, no, but I'm talking about like
everything that you see, from the
punching bag to the pool.
Yeah, everything apart from the school part, and the punching bag was in another apartment, 2 hours in my friend's apartment.
Okay.
So Ash, an apartment also wanted to look good. So I asked my friend, the costumes were the wardrobe and everything he did himself. He's a fashion designer, Ash, and my friend Digvijay, he arranged everything. So we, as the only thing that helped me as a professional filmmaker, that I knew how to get away with everything fast and act. We did a lot great pre-production work with actors, and the kiss scene at the end, girls were to do it in public and because guy kissing a girl is very common in India and common everywhere. But even if you are gay, if you are queer, you are or not, to kiss somebody on camera, on a film that is going to international platforms, national platforms, it becomes a big challenge for actors also, because people give them advices. Oh, your career, why? So I said, well, so after they watched it, my actors, like, they were amazed. It was shown so classy way. If you see, there is everything is, there is no even a single frame that I'm proud of that somebody can say, oh, it is vulgar, oh, it is nudity, oh, there's sex. There's nothing in that. It's pure film for romance, love, hatred, passion, compassion.
Yeah. No, and like I said, like, that is something that, and I was talking about this too with another filmmaker, is that I do feel like queer film sometimes does get the rap that is always going to have sex in it, or it's always going to be it. But queer film doesn't have to be that. Like, queer stories are not all about that. And so, like, that is one of the other things that I loved about your film. Now, I have a question that I ask all my filmmakers that I would love for you to give your opinion on. And it is, what is the one golden piece of advice you can give younger filmmakers to help them succeed in what they want to do?
I like to say what I see myself, what I see in like I'd like to advise them that to break the rule, you should know the rule first, because that's what happening. You can, like the film that you've seen, I may have changed the film grammar, the proper film grammar, I may have, but I could only do that once I knew it. So having confident on yourself is a good thing, which everybody should be. But what I see into young film, what I see in other filmmakers, young filmmakers that are coming, they want to prove everything in one day.
Yes.
Everything cannot happen in one day, and patience is the key. So the patience in today's, like I call myself in the generation which I see youngers now. I'm in my early 40s. So, but I see other young filmmakers. So what I see is they come to me, my juniors, they want to, the people who assist me, they want to do everything in one day. And they want to prove to me that I am the best and he's not the best. So I like to advise them that be patient, keep patience, and believe in your art and work more and more. And every day is an evolution. Filmmaking, what I was 20 years back and what I'm 20 years after that, it's a constant evolution, like how we have, like how in the past now. And make your own decisions. Don't go what you hear. Experiment yourself, how you feel comfortable in, and don't try to be. Everybody nowadays want to be a director. Nobody ever see that I can be a production guy. I may be good in that. Or nobody says I can be an editor, or maybe that can be a career. Or maybe I can be an accountant, or maybe I could. So I say, go beyond your limits is good, but at least know yourself first. What are you good at? And then do it. You will get success. I mean, that's what I think. Personally.
Yeah, no, I loved it. You had me entranced. That was a great answer. I'm like, that's great. I agree. Everything does not happen overnight. And sometimes you do have to be patient. Like, that's just the truth.
Well, and I also learned that with myself.
Exactly.
I was impatient myself.
Yeah, well, and then I was going to say is the nice point of everyone wanting to be a director. Like, I didn't start out as a director. That's not where I started. I started when I was 6 years old, learning the craft of acting, did theater, went through all of that, then became a director and all that. And now I'm a filmmaker. But I started in theater, and I started in dance and music and stuff like that. I mean, that's why I loved Bollywood so much, because I loved that.
I like to add something in that when we are in school, when we are in primary, nursery, what we learn is we do all the subjects like English, maths, geography, science. So it's filmmaking is the same thing, acting, directing. But once you know everything, then you become a filmmaker. So I call myself, I like to call myself as a filmmaker, because I have that craft. I know each and every, like I can edit, I can shoot, I can do. So indie filmmaker means, and then when you work. So like I started as an actor, as you said, I started at 6 too.
Oh, wow.
As a stage artist, and I have like almost 2,000 shows on my name.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, that's not that important. I mean, I just mentioned it.
It helps. Yes. And it helps because we learn, like every show we do, we trained, and and that's why when I was 18,
that's evolution I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the patience that happens. And no, exactly. And I agree. I 100% agree. So my next question is going to be, what would you like the MQFF family to leave the theater thinking after your film? Like, what is the one moralistic thing that you want them to leave with?
Sorry, it was little sound was not clear on that. Can you please repeat the question?
What was the moralistic thing that you would like your audience to leave with?
Whatever you are from inside, and if you are not expressing it, and you are thinking that it will not be accepted, your fears or whatever anxieties or and you are trying to cover it with a mask that you are not. I feel everyone, whoever in personal life, after watching all the film, beautiful films and everything. So we just try to take away the mask that we are not, and we should be ourselves, and people will love us. Trust me, people will accept us how we are if we are honest with ourselves. If we are not honest with ourselves, then nobody will accept us. How can they if we cannot accept ourselves? Accept ourselves, love ourselves, and then world will love us back. There's no doubt in that.
Oh, and I don't think there's any better words than to leave our episode 9 or 8. I'm just been so wrapped up in this interview. I can't even remember what episode it is. I want to leave it there. Love yourself. Let's remove the masks. Let's be more honest and be more connected with each other as artists, as people, as humans. Thank you so much, Cash, for being here with me today, creating this amazing film. And everyone out there, you will be able to see CATFIGHT at our festival between September 8th and 10th. And yes, and Cash, you're going to be there, right? Are you coming? You're coming to the festival?
I'm definitely planning to be there. I have a couple of things that I have to do, and I would love to be there. And I'm coming. I'll say that. Yes, yeah, I'm coming.
I mean,
I love to meet you, brother. I love you.
I have to meet you in person, so I'm very excited about that.
With my open arms, I'm coming.
And we're gonna be here, and we're gonna celebrate your film. We're gonna celebrate everything else. Thank you, guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Get your tickets. That's MQFF episode 8 or 9. I can't remember. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.